Good morning. Welcome to Tuesday morning's early morning intuitive guidance. I had to think for a minute there. I had Tuesday in my head, and now we're back to Tuesday. So, I'm Dr. Bonnie Nussbaum. Here were some words of wisdom to start your day off well. And we have a card again from the Earth Magic deck, and I have to say this card kind of blew me away because it is so spot on for me personally, but my guess is for many of you it will be as well, and for where we're at in our development, our evolution as a country. So we'll get to that in a moment, but I also got a little bit of a hit that it would be good to do some preparatory work for this particular card. So rather than having our brains going in 1,000 different directions because it's the morning and we're planning our day and all that stuff, it feels like we'll use a particular tool that we have used before to ground ourselves and bring ourselves into a place of openness and preparedness for the message. So let me grab a drink here. And we'll give it a minute for some of you to pop on. It's very interesting. The screen looks different than it typically looks, and there's this odd little button that says share to a group, which is never there before. So there apparently Facebook is modifying things again. Good morning, Nancy. Welcome. You're the first one popping on today. Glad you are here. So, as I was saying, this card blew me away because it fits so well with yesterday's card, which was River Movement. And I just thought that picture was so pretty, I wanted to keep this card on my desk. So today's card dovetails with this beautifully. Good morning, Gwen. Glad you're here. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So, but again, I do want to start with a little process that you can use any time that is really good for when you're anxious, is really good for when you feel like your brain is kind of offline, like your focus is not how you'd like it to be. It's really good when you're trying to process something and it's just not, you're not able to stick with it. So we'll do that first. I'd like to have a few more people pop on first, and then we'll jump into today's card, which again is just kind of a mind boggler. Definitely lets me know there are no accidents. There are no accidents. So we have two of you here. We'll start with the two of you. First, let's do a little breath though. There's Barb. Good morning. Glad you're here. Haven't seen Joe Neal pop in yet, but pretty soon we'll have the whole gang here. Or Mel. Yeah. Or Abigail, waiting for the regulars to pop on. So let's start with a little breath. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. I turned my air conditioner off. Now it's getting stuffy in here. In through the nose. Out through the mouth. A little bit of tapping. We're grounding so you can plant your feet. Sending the roots down through the base of your spine and the soles of your feet. Deep into Mother Earth with every exhale. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Good. Oh, and a little heart popped up. That's fun. That's very fun. So the hearts now, instead of just popping up as a heart, they pop up as your little thumbnail, and then it turns into a heart and sails up. Yep, Facebook has some new stuff on the docket here. Yep, there's another one. Funny, funny, funny. Technology. So, what we're going to do first is a whole brain posture. The purpose for doing so, and again, you can use it for many things. For calming yourself down, for clearing your mind, for settling your mind, body, spirit. You can use it for a whole lot of things. In this case, we're going to use it for opening to receiving this message, stepping into the flow of this message, being at one with this message. So, we're not going to do all the fancy bells and whistles that I do when I'm working with a coaching client and we're using this particular tool. we're going to have the faith and trust that how we use it in this stripped down version is exactly what we need today. So cross one ankle over the other, arms out in front like a zombie, cross at the wrists. Turn your palms down and interlace your fingers. Then you can either bring them up to your chest or you can rest them in your lap, whatever's more comfortable. Then I'd like you to close your eyes, not if you're driving. Shouldn't be doing the whole brain posture if you're driving either. Close your eyes and take some nice deep belly breaths, setting the intention that this is going to ground you, center you, open up all of your chakras to receiving this message. So the root chakra, that's about the survival stuff. Sacral chakra, which is about some connection with others and self. Solar plexus, which is your power source. Heart, which is about connection and love. Throat, which is about communication. Third eye, right between your eyebrows, which is about wisdom. And the crown of your head, which is your connection to the divine. Just breathing all of those open, seeing them spinning open, feeling them spinning open, feeling an openness, almost an airiness within that signifies you're ready to receive the message. And I'll deliver the message and you can either stay in this position or you can just relax everything into an open state. A breath. So our card today comes from Earth Magic, Stephen D. Farmer. And this particular card, and I want to point out the three of you that are here right now, by the end of the day there'll be a whole bunch who've watched this, but the three of you who are here right now, there's something very profound in this card for you. It is Dragonfly, Emergence. And as you can see, she's just coming out of the water, and there's dragonflies all around her. Dragonfly, Emergence. In the stages of the life cycle of a dragonfly, once the egg is laid upon a floating plant or dropped into the water, it gestates, hatches, and may remain for up to 4 years in a larval form called the nymph. This is a precursor to the dragonfly. Dragonflies skip the cocoon stage, moving from egg directly to nymph. At some point, the nymph climbs on a rock or leaf. Connection with, yes, so this card is definitely for you, absolutely. Climbs onto a rock or leaf, and there emerges from its former body and takes on the shape and character of the adult dragonfly. This radiant being then proceeds to illuminate our eyes and hearts as we witness its dramatic colors and magical dance along the surface of the water. Yep, okay, so we got a bunch of dragonfly lovers here. Fabulous. In this card, we see a nature goddess. Like the dragonfly emerging from the water, her hair braided with vines dotted with flowers. She is surrounded by dragonflies and is one with the vibrant plant life thriving in the pond. The goddess emerges from her gestation in the water transformed with a renewed sense of power and purpose. So that's the card part of it. Now here's the part where they're speaking to us and how this applies to our life. So take another nice deep breath. Let it go. You are in an intense period of emergence into the next cycle of your life. Unlike more gradual shifts in awareness you have experienced, like we sometimes have that dawning sense of something and it takes a while for the whole thing to emerge, this one is happening quite rapidly and came on somewhat unexpectedly, without any pauses for contemplation or indecision. You may even think that you are unprepared for such a dramatic change in your life. Yet you are prepared, and you can put to use the experiences and wisdom you have accumulated up to now. Excuse me. Life is demanding that you move into the next stage of maturity. In my other lingo, it would be up level into a new level of vibration. We're moving from 3D up up the food chain, as it were. Life is demanding that you move into the next stage of maturity. This requires you to adjust your thinking about yourself, others, and your community. I would say certainly about our country. It calls for you to shed yet another layer of your ego-filled defenses and let go of any illusion of being less than who you are. Many of us get stuck in that imposter syndrome thing of who am I to share this profound message, or who am I to make this change that impacts how things unfold in the world? Who am I to? You are. You are you. That's who you are to do those things. If you are being called to something, heed the call. Heed the call. Because we know that when we succumb to our fear, succumb to our imposter syndrome idea, succumb to our limiting beliefs, things don't go well. When we are choosing not to heed our call, even if we're scared to death, doesn't matter. If we're choosing not to heed our call, things tend not to go well. They tend not to go well. It calls for you to shed yet another layer of your ego-filled defenses and let go of any illusions of being less than who you are. This period of emergence is one of broadened consciousness, yes, 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 and heightened perceptual capacities, yes, yes, yes. Have we not talked about this? This is all the same stuff we've been talking about, just in a little different perspective, hopefully more consumable for many of us. Since it is inevitable, it is best to surrender to the flow. Mic drop. Since this change is inevitable, this up-leveling of vibration is inevitable, it is best to surrender to the flow and allow yourself to gracefully move into the next cycle of your life. Is that not spot on? Spot on for where we're at. And hopefully you take some comfort in this guidance. Because again, if you're one of the people who doesn't maybe have a whole lot of life experience, or hasn't allowed her or himself to be present for what is, or has drunk the Kool-Aid of work hard, it'll be fine, don't question authority, blah, 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 blah. This is really shaking your core, right? All of the stuff that's going on. So know that this card is saying this is the emergence. It doesn't look pretty, but it is the emergence. It's the vehicle through which we are choosing to arrive at this up-leveled place. We each as individuals now make the choice of how do I respond to this? Not react, respond. Respond means it's a well-integrated choice. It resonates with your mind, body, spirit. Yes, surrender to the flow. Surrender to the flow. So when you don't know what to do, stop, breathe, spend time in nature, contemplate, journal, clean up your food act, make different choices. Just be, capital B, until you get the guidance what step to take next. Sometimes we're kind of like on call, waiting for our call to take our next steps. I certainly feel that in terms of the housing project. Feels like it's been on call for quite some time. Eventually, there will be a call to take another step forward, whatever it's going to be, whatever it's going to be. So we surrender to the flow. You might want to find an image of that. I had a dream that had an image of this, and it was an interesting dream. I'll just share a part of it because I think it can be helpful here. So I was on a road, and I was driving, and then you know how in dreams the car magically disappeared, and I'm walking on the road, and I come to this place where the road goes down into a river and back up the other side. But the river's moving pretty swiftly, and it's not a clean river. It's muddy water. There's flotsam and jetsam floating along. There's dead animals in it floating along, almost like floodwaters in a way. But it's not moving that fast. But I get the sense in the dream that I'm supposed to go in the water and surrender to the flow. So I did, and I'm floating along. I have no idea where I'm going, surrounded by dead animals and junk. And then it opened out into a larger river, and off to the side of me there was a gigantic factory, old abandoned factory that had glass windows all over it. And I knew I was meant to swim into that space. And that's the dream went on, but that's enough to give you the concept of, so you can choose a clean river. You can choose a lazy river, one of those that moves nicely. You can choose to have an inner tube. You can have a pool noodle. You can do whatever you want. You can be in a canoe. You can be in a kayak. Whatever feels right to you. But if you do choose to be in a canoe or a kayak and you have a paddle, use that to be of assistance to the flow of the river. Don't fight the river. Don't try to use your paddle to go back upstream. Allow the river to take you where you're meant to go, and you can use your paddle to stay off of rocks, or stay in the center where the water's moving a little more, or whatever you're called to do. But again, make a part of that process paying attention to your call. What am I being called to do? I think it would be very helpful right now. Maybe it's printing off a picture of a river. Maybe it's finding some videos of rivers. Whatever works for you, but whatever to surrender to the flow. Surrender to the flow. That's what we are being called to do right now. We will get additional calls. Do this, call this person, say that, withdraw your energy from here, put it over there. We'll get those little nudges. Heed them when they come. And we will be out the other side of this process. We will arrive at a higher level of consciousness. Are we done then? No. No, we continue with life. But we will have made this transformation, be in that place of emergence from what was into what will be. So that's our card for today. Pretty profound, I think. So have an awesome Tuesday. We'll see you again tomorrow. Remember, you are capable of far more than you think you are, including surrendering to the flow. Bye-bye.